What the bill does is it gives juveniles who were sentenced prior to the effective date of the bill, which will be October 1st, 2021, the opportunity to seek a reconsideration of their sentence in circuit court.
What sentence would that be?
A sentence for which they've been held at least 20 years in jail.
And what was their sentence? Was this life without parole?
It can be any sentence for which they had been held for more than 20 years. People are eligible for parole if they've committed a violent crime after they've served half of their sentence. So it would be a person who had served an active sentence of 40 years or more as they were sentenced.
So we could say these are violent juvenile offenders, or they wouldn't have gotten that sentence.
They have been convicted of violent crimes, yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. I have an amendment at the desk. It's amendment number 103128/1.
Amendment number 1.
Move so much be considered the reading of the amendment.
So ordered.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This amendment just says life should mean life for anyone convicted of killing a police officer. Our police officers bravely run into harm's danger for us. They protect and serve, and they do that for each one of us. And this amendment makes me think of a murder that happened right down the street from me. Amy Caprio. I think every one of you on this floor knows the name Amy Caprio. She was a brave Baltimore County police officer. May 21st in 2018, Amy Caprio was brutally killed. You can Google her name and you can see the body cam footage of what happened to her. A man, a 16-year-old juvenile, Donta Harris, and 3 other juveniles were in Perry Hall, and they had stolen a car and they were burglarizing homes in the neighborhood literally 1 block from where my kids live. Amy, in this horrific body camera footage that I encourage you to watch, told him to stop. Donta Harris was in a Jeep, in a big, large black Jeep, and she pulled up to the Jeep and commanded him to stop. She said, "Stop, stop, get out of the car." She paused and communicated on her radio. She said, "Get out of the car." She repeated commands. And then he put his foot on the gas and ran her over with a Jeep. He brutally killed her with massive, crushing injuries. He didn't evade. He didn't back up. He didn't obey her commands to stop, but he ran her over. Her husband, Tim Caprio, his life has been shattered. He said that his wife was remorselessly killed. Donta Harris denied it at first, even though the body cam footage and the proof was there. He lied. He said he didn't do it. He even tried to hide the keys to the car he had stolen in the interview room. And for Amy Caprio and many other brave law enforcement officers that literally put their life on the line for us each and every day, life should mean life.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of this amendment. This bill needs this amendment. The thin blue line gets thinner every day here in Annapolis. This amendment restores the principle that our police officers matter and that the men and women that protect and serve our citizens and visitors of our state, these policies matter. So to the Minority Whip, this is a wonderful amendment that speaks directly to the police officers who in many cases give their all. Their families have to live the rest of their life having that loss. And the judges, we need to hold them in a position where they make their decision, that the juries are able to have their enforcement mechanisms held in place, protect the integrity of our system of law enforcement, and this amendment does that, and would ask the body to support the amendment.
Of clarity to me for Marylanders should this become law. And the point that kind of struck me about the debate is the mention, and we've heard passionate arguments against the amendment, talking about redemption and the role of the criminal justice system. And that strikes a chord with everyone. But don't be confused. Don't be confused. The government and the criminal justice system is not the redeemer. We're in the last week, the week before Easter. We're going to talk about redemption. There's a role and there's a line. There's some things the government can do, and there's some things the government can't do. Morality comes to play with everyone. The Redeemer is the Redeemer. Our criminal justice system, it has a role, and there are functions within the criminal justice system. But don't let that blur your vision about what this amendment does. It's a point of clarity for everyone, especially juveniles. Don't kill a police officer. Support the amendment.
Speaker, this isn't about vengeance and revenge. That is not what this is about. This is about justice, and this is about the law. Some actions have lifelong consequences. The consequences for Amy Caprio is that she is dead. That is the lifelong consequence of Donta Harris's behavior. This is about justice for Amy. Her husband and her parents, they aren't seeking vengeance and revenge. They want justice for Amy. And what this bill will do is drag them back into court 12 times to have to relive the horror of their daughter and wife being murdered. This is not revenge. This is not vengeance. This is justice for law enforcement officers like Amy Caprio. I urge a green vote.
Recognizing the gentleman from, where's he from? Frederick.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of the amendment. I actually wasn't planning on speaking on this particular amendment, but I just realized that less than 2 weeks ago, Senator Chris Van Hollen and Senator Ben Cardin presented Amy Caprio's parents with the Congressional Badge of Bravery for her ultimate sacrifice. And I think this amendment is appropriate in honoring Officer Caprio's ultimate sacrifice for our state by giving her life. And to the maker of the amendment's point about dragging her poor parents in and out of court over the next several years, I think that would send the wrong message. So again, I support this amendment. I think it's appropriate, and it would be a great way to honor Officer Caprio's sacrifice for our state. Thank you, Madam Speaker.